Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Kate Murray, Stevie, Nicol, Shaka, Hislop and Ian Darke are with you. We're giggling because we've been singing before we've come to air
Stevie's been singing.
Stevie's been singing and telling all sorts of jokes, maybe for another show. Let's get started with your questions. Rocky would like to know, and I'll ask you, Shaka. If Jorginho wins the Super Cup and the Club World Cup, will it be fair for him to win the Ballon d'Or after already winning the Champions League and the Euros?
Right now, Messi's got to score 25 own goals between now and December to not win it. It doesn't really matter what Jorginho does at this point.
You'd have Lewandowski before him as well.
I feel like we talk about the Ballon d'Or a lot here. Where do you stand on this one, Mr. Darke? Jorginho as a Ballon d'Or winner?
Well, I mean, it's amazing because a couple of seasons ago he was being ridiculed by Chelsea fans. They didn't like him when Maurizio Sarri was the manager, and he was the pantomime villain. Now he's the guy that's won the Champions League and the Euros, so I think he's in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or, but I don't think he'll win it.
Okay, Abid says, Kay, can you ask Stevie who from Chelsea would get into Manchester United's best 11, including Sancho and Varane? I see only Mendy, Kante and James. James. Reece James.
Mendy would get in. Arguably Mason Mount was better than anybody else as far as the whole season was concerned. Yes, other players did well, but he was the most consistent. He would get in it for me. Jorginho would get in it. Would you have Havertz over Cavani?
Nah, I wouldn't. I'd have Cavani.
But who's going to play more games? Cavani's not going to be able to play.
We play in one game. We play in one game for all the marbles.
So we're just picking for one game.
It's a Champions League
best team.
final.
Right. Well then,
I have Cavani.
well, but see, we're all assuming that. Listen, I think Sancho's a great player,
Right.
but we're all assuming that Sancho's going to be this wonder kid or a superstar, which he's not far off it. But he's been a superstar with Borussia Dortmund. There's been a lot of superstars at Borussia Dortmund that have come to the Premier League, and Man United in particular, and bombed. So we're kind of assuming, and by the way, Sancho never got a game for England either in the Euros. So we're kind of assuming.
You got one.
Right.
Wow.
But Grealish didn't play too much either.
I'm just trying to. I'm talking my way through the team. So, but again, I suppose you'd have to go with Sancho. But as I said, it's not.
So added to that list of Mendy, Kante, and
Reece
James, you've added Mount and Jorginho.
Right.
Okay.
What about Azpilicueta, Mr.
No.
Consistency?
Ian,
No?
he's at the end of last season. You could visually see him even on the television with 20 minutes to go, holding on to his knees, breathing heavy. I mean, there's no question. Azpilicueta is beginning to. He's only 31, which actually is quite young to be. In my opinion, the way he's looked at the end of the season, but he looked shattered to me. So I'm not sure I would put him in it.
Ian,
I think Mason Mount looked a bit shattered in the Euros, to be honest with you, as well. I mean, he played 80 games between last summer and this summer, and I think it just took the edge off him. I was a bit surprised he kept his place in that England team. Great player, but just looked a bit tired, I thought.
Ian, I'm going to stick with you because Lee Catamol fan says, Ian, last year, halfway through the season, you said Arsenal would finish top 4. How optimistic are you this season?
No, I don't think they're going to finish top 4, and that was one of my worst predictions, and there have been quite a lot of bad predictions from me, but that's right up there, that one. No, I don't think they can get top 4. The Ben White signing, as we've discussed today, I think is a good one, but they need more.
I love this next question from Sancho PR Winking Face. Shaka, I'm going to ask you all actually. Shaka, who was the better striker between Ruud van Nistelrooy and Robin van Persie?
Oh, goodness me. I'm going to go Van Nistelrooy. I just feel Van Nistelrooy was the better finisher, no question. And yeah, if I had to choose one between those two, I think I go Van Nistelrooy. I think I go the purer finisher.
Stevie, you're nodding.
Aye. Yeah.
Van Nistelrooy.
Van Persie is fine.
Yeah, I was just about to say, there's no wrong answer
But Van Nistelrooy is like... you talk about just a pure goal scorer.
Yeah.
You think of Van Persie, you think of like top corner strikes for 20 yards and spectacular goals. Van Nistelrooy is just, hey, he can put it in the top corner, but he can also put it in with his backside.
I think Van Persie was trickier around the box with the ball at his feet, but Van Nistelrooy just had that slightly sharper striker's instinct. Just knew where to be and how to lose a defender.
And that was his nickname when he came to Real Madrid, was Killer. And Dan will remember the first season he came, as he got the ball, you knew it was a goal. Finished Pachichi in his first season there. Ian, you've obviously commentated on both of these players. Who is it for you?
Now, two great players, electric strikers, both of them. I think I go with the guys there. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy. It was good because he worked with us, didn't he? The World Cup in Brazil, I think it was.
Yep, 2014.
And you had this impression that he might be a bit difficult and a bit arrogant or something like that. But he was the most charming and modest man. So it was a pleasure to meet him as well. I think he did some ball juggling in the office with Steve McManaman and Michael Ballack. And they said to me, oh, come on, join in. I said, I'm not going to make myself look an idiot with you.
It's true what Ian says. He was actually a favourite among not just Real Madrid fans, but among the coaching staff and the backroom staff as well, and many of the journalists. He was a very nice guy. So a misconception that he wasn't a nice guy. Dan McLaughlin. Ian, how annoying is it to continue to watch teams concede on corners when a defender on the post could easily clear it?
Well, yeah, and we saw it today at the Olympic Games in the women's match. The GB Great Britain team played against Australia. Their first goal was a header that went straight in on the corner. Of course, Stevie will remember that every team used to have two fullbacks. I expect he did the job himself once or twice on the line there for that exact thing. It's gone out of fashion now, but I've lost count of the number of goals I've seen and thought, you know what? Somebody on the line there would have just headed it away.
I bet you two have both got an opinion on this one, Shaka.
Huh?
About this question here. How annoying is it to
Stevie, I've never seen somebody get so angry when a ball goes in right near the post as Stevie. It doesn't matter who we're watching. If the ball goes in right off the post, Stevie's fuming. Listen, I totally agree. When I played, we always had somebody on the post. Just made sense.
And what Darke says makes it worse, because that's all it is. Out of fashion.
Yeah.
Forget common sense, forget the right thing to do, forget something that works, but it's out of fashion. Oh, we can't do that. We don't put players in the post anymore, so we're certainly not going to do it.
I've just seen that Twitter handle. Shaka Hislop's Newcastle jersey.
Oh, I missed it, didn't I?
Yeah,
let me tell you.
I tried to ignore it, didn't I?
I had some
Another thing, guys. Another thing that's gone out of fashion is corner kicks. How many do you see that are cleared easily by the first defender? The old idea where you got a forward across the line of that corner kick, got the flick on. I mean, Arsenal did it all the time. They were famous for it. Steve Bold, I think, used to do it. Flick it on, somebody score with a header on the back post or in the 6-yard box. People don't do that anymore. They take corners and usually the first defender heads it away and that's that.
That was a classic Stoke. Every single time Stoke got a corner or a throw-in, they stuck the biggest, tallest, biggest square head and just put it right there. And you could have 3 and 4 round them and nobody could stop them from getting the flick on. So it all became about the second ball. Everybody knew what they were going to do, but it worked.
And you can't do anything about it.
I can, but you can't do that now. No, that's old-fashioned. You can't do it. Forget it works. Forget it's an absolute nightmare, by the way, for opposing coaches to defend against it. Because it's old. Honestly, I've got steam coming out of my ears. It drives me insane. All that kind of stuff.
People can't find the biggest, tallest, biggest meathead anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
Shaka, then let's get to this one. Shaka Hislop's Newcastle jersey. Stevie, what's the percentage of tactics versus player ability?
Don Hutchison or something.
For a successful team, is it closer to 60-40 or 50-50?
Now, let me look at the question.
Percentage of tactics versus
Tactics over
player
ability.
Oh, give me ability every day.
How much?
I'll tell you what, I could be the greatest tactician in the world, right? How am I going to stop Messi?
Well, Atletico Madrid won the league last year.
Oh, sorry, Messi's like nearly 60 years old.
No, it's all right.
You know what I mean? How do you stop Messi? With your tactics. People have been trying to stop Messi with the tactics since he was, what, 18?
Well, they have now and again, not often. There have been somewhere they try and nullify
Well, there you
Messi.
go. You're just making my answer even more correct.
Okay.
When you're saying now and again. Now and again, it just might have been he was having an off day. So no question. Ability every single time over your tactics.
What percentage? Where's the spread?
60-40 or 50-50?
Give me
90-10.
Give me ability
80-20.
all day. I'll say 80-20.
There you go.
Because at least you need a bit of brains.
Why you have to get so angry for that?
That last question's got me wound up.
I know he's still fuming.
Does me head on.
Still fuming. Juancho tweets. For Shaka Hislop, do you prefer to make a great save in the air or nutmeg an oncoming forward?
I've never nutmeg an oncoming forward.
In real life?
In real life. So I'll have to go with save in the air because I don't know the other one. I don't know what that feels like.
Shaq, what kind of goalie were you at landing, right? Did you land softly or did you land hard?
Oh, I was a soft lander.
Soft. Because we had a guy at the Revs, Aidan Brown was his name.
Yeah.
Big Aidan was about 6'4".
Right.
But I'll tell you what, you know when he landed, you could hear it a mile away and the ground shook. And he always got up like that. Oh, every single time. Oh, like an elephant hitting the deck.
Yeah,
every single
not a
time.
cat.
I'll tell you what, I remember back in my career, I was saying to Brad Friedel, like when I dived, I could feel every bone in my body shake. Right. And then I remember a few years later, Brad called me up and said, remember what you said? I know what you mean now. When you get to that age, it hurts. It does.
Speaking of things that hurt, Shaddy says, question for Stevie, what would hurt more? Scotland losing to England 10-0 or England winning in the World Cup?
Whoa!
England winning the World Cup, easy.
Right.
Easy, not even close.
But if it was Scotland against England 10-0, you'd never hear the last of that. England could win the World Cup against anybody else.
Oh no. Well, put it this way. 1966 was the last time you won it, and we're still hearing about it. So, eventually 10-0 sort of disappears.
Go on, Ian.
Stevie, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Did you go out and play golf when England were playing in the European Championship final because you couldn't bear the idea that England might win the Euro? Like Dennis Norton in '66.
Well, if I'd had the choice, Ian, if I'd had the choice, I would have golfed. But unfortunately, I had to watch it for the show. But I'll tell you what,
it broke your heart.
You want to see me jumping when I had to win that last penalty got missed? I was like that. Yeah, it's not coming home. It's not coming home. It's not going home.
No, it was going to Rome. Very, very funny, says Shaka. Have you ever dreamt of what your testimonial match would be like? Opponents, teammates to invite to play, etc., etc.
No, I've never been anywhere that long enough to even come close. I think the longest I was at West Ham for a total of 5 years. That was 4 my first spell, 1 the second. After that, 3 years everywhere else. I haven't even come close to that testimony.
That's a shame.
I have Stevie. How about that?
Yeah, you put. What if you did have to put a team together of your best
That's right.
teammates
Hold on.
and your favourite colleagues?
I've been at ESPN for more than 10 years.
Go on,
I should have a testimonial game.
And a wonderful commentator to call it as well.
That's right. Ian will be on the same team with Steve McManaman, Ballon, and Van Nistelrooy. Can't go wrong there.
He called mine. My testimonial.
I'll tell you what they did. Yeah. Shaka Hislop, I've got to tell you, Shaka Hislop is very fondly remembered because I'm a Portsmouth fan. I think people know that. He's very fondly remembered at Fran Park and Pompey.
Thank you very much, Ian.
I'd love Shaka to have a testimonial game at Fratton Park, and I think a lot of people would turn up, and I might even turn up myself.
Go, you're in. You've already. You're picked. Ian, you're in. You start the lineup.
Let's make it happen. Once restrictions are loose,
all right.
We're all heading to Portsmouth for Shaka's testimonial. Maybe
There
you
you
can
go.
join us there. That is it for the latest edition of Extra Time. Stevie's still fuming about that question on chorus.
No, that question cheered me up about England losing.
ESPN FC, available daily. Don't miss it.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.